The letter is already open on the table when you walk in. You didn't open it. The black wax is broken clean, pressed with the double-headed eagle, the seal your father puts on documents that end things. Careers, alliances, lives. Someone opened it before you got here. That means someone in this house is sending you a message inside your father's message. You pick it up. He's made his decision. You are next. 7 words. His handwriting, letters pressed hard into the paper like commands. Your hands stay steady. You hold them up, test the stillness, and feel something shift in your chest you don't have a name for yet. You set it down. Walk to the window. Outside. The compound moves like clockwork. Guards rotating at the east wall. 2 black SUVs idling near the south gate. A groundskeeper raking gravel who hasn't looked up once. Nobody looks at you. They never do. In this compound, eye contact is something you earn or something you lose. Hi viewers, if you found out your entire life had been decided for you before you were old enough to have a say, what's the very first thing you would do? Drop it in the comments right now. You turn back to the letter. You are next. Next for what? Your father didn't say. He never explains. Explanation is something you offer when you believe the other person has the option to disagree. Your father has never believed that about anyone. You fold it back along its original crease. Set it on the table exactly as it was. Walk out toward breakfast with your face arranged in the expression you learned before you learned to read. The one that says nothing has changed. But everything has changed. And the letter on the table wasn't the only message left for you this morning. The second one is going to cost someone in this house everything. You find Danlamy at 2 in the morning pressed against the wall outside the archive room. And the moment he hears your footsteps, he doesn't run. He turns around. That's the first wrong thing. In this house, when you're caught somewhere you shouldn't be, you move. You produce an excuse before anyone asks. 22 years working for your father teaches that instinct fast. Danlamy doesn't move. Doesn't explain. He just looks at you, leather folder pressed to his chest, the one nobody touches. And his face carries something that stops you cold. Not fear. Grief. The settled kind that has lived in a person so long it stopped being an emotion and became a feature. Your father built all of this, he says. And it cost exactly what it costs. You ask what that means. He smiles with just his mouth. Ask him how many schools he built. Then ask how many he burned down first to make sure his were the only ones left standing. He walks away. You stand in the dark and let that land. You've walked this estate 10,000 times. You know every corridor, every locked room, every staff member who arrives and quietly stops arriving and is never mentioned again. You thought you understood this place. Danlamy's face just showed you something different. You've been living inside a version of this estate built specifically for you to see. Everything else, the real load-bearing walls of this empire, has been directly behind you your entire life. You look at the archive room door. The handle is right there. Danlamy didn't stop here by accident. He's never done anything by accident. He was standing outside this door at 2 in the morning because he was waiting for you to find him. You reach for the handle, your fingers close around cold metal. And from deeper in the house, footsteps, measured, moving in your direction. You step back from the door. The footsteps pass. A guard on his circuit. Gone. You count to 10. Then you reach for the handle again. And you remember what your mother pressed into your hands when you were 14. Her fingers on the dial. For numbers, pause, 2 numbers. Her voice low and steady. In case. You asked in case of what? She smoothed your hair back and said nothing. The lock releases. Inside, the air is cooler. Controlled. Metal shelving lines, 3 walls floor to ceiling. The files are organized by year, then name, then a 3rd column that stops your breath the moment you read it. Outcome. No letterhead. No seal. Just that word, typed above forms that document decisions the way a ledger documents money. Neutrally. Completely. Resolved. Relocated. Suspended. Concluded. You pull a folder. Then another. Then you see the tab near the back of the 3rd shelf and your hands stop on their own. Your name. Your given name. the one your mother chose. The one your father has never once said out loud in your presence, as if saying it would mean you were a person instead of a position. 47 folders. You open the first one. The school that rejected you at 16, the one you cried about for 3 days. A letter from your father's office requesting the rejection, signed 2 weeks before you submitted your application. The second, Zaire, the boy from the neighboring estate who transferred without a word when you were 17. A payment receipt, a relocation document, a note in your father's handwriting, distraction. Handle. The third, the community organization that asked you to leave at 22. Funding withdrawal unrelated to you, they said. A folder showing the withdrawal was initiated the same morning you submitted your volunteer form. 47 decisions made about your life. 47 times the world narrowed and you assumed it was the world. It was never the world. It was always him. You sit on the archive room floor with a folder open across your knees and feel something move through you that is not grief and not rage. Something colder. Something that settles instead of rises. Clarity. Then the door opens behind you. You close the folder first. Stand. Turn. Damlamy is in the doorway. No surprise on his face. The look of a man who arranged for you to find exactly what you found. How long, you ask? 11 years. Why now? He looks at the shelf. At the 47 folders. At the woman who read them and didn't fall apart. Because now, he says, you're ready to do something about it. Before you can answer, your father's voice. Far end of the corridor. Calling your name. You don't move. Your father calls again. Steady. Unhurried. The tone he uses when he already knows where you are and is giving you the chance to come before he comes to you. You've heard that tone your whole life. It means the window is closing. Damlamy reaches into the leather folder and pulls out a drive. Small. Flat. Unremarkable. Everything on those shelves. The accounts. The names. He holds it out. You look at it in his palm and understand something that reshapes the last hour entirely. He didn't end up in that corridor by chance. He built this night. With patience. With architecture. Years in advance. And he's been waiting for you to be the person standing in this room. You take it. You know what next means now, he says. You do. Next doesn't mean inheritance. It means installation. The moment you step formally into the role your father built for you, you stop being a question he manages. You become an answer. Fixed. Washed at a resolution so fine you'll never feel the edges. The way your mother was managed. The way she became someone who laughs at exactly the right moments, keeps her hands folded in her lap, and stopped leaving books face down across chairs because she stopped reading anything that made her want to leave them anywhere at all. Your father calls a third time. Closer. Take the east corridor, Damlamy says. Someone's waiting. Who? The settled grief on his face shifts into something that has finally found a use for itself. Someone who's been waiting longer than I have. You close your fist around the drive. You walk to the east corridor. At the far end, in the lit doorway of the room, already dressed, already watching for you, is the one person you never expected to find on the other side of a secret. Because you spent 26 years believing she didn't know any. Your mother. And the look on her face tells you she knows everything. Your mother takes your hand before you can speak. She pulls you in and closes the door. Quiet. Practiced. The motion of someone who has rehearsed this or spent years imagining it. One lamp. Cold tea on the side table that she doesn't drink. She just keeps it there so anyone walking in sees something that looks like a normal night. You've sat across from her 100 times and never understood that. She sees the drive in your hand, and something in her face cracks open. The way a surface cracks when what's been building behind it has been there longer than the surface was built to hold. You went in, she says. You knew I would. I hoped. I was terrified. You placed the drive on the table between you. She looks at it the way you look at something you put away long ago and weren't sure you'd ever be ready to see again. She starts to fold her hands in her lap. Then she stops. She looks at them, deliberately unfolds them, and sets them open on her knees. That small thing breaks something open in your chest. I found those folders before you were born, she says. I tried to leave. I had a plan. A friend named Amara, someone he'd never accounted for. She had a car, documents, a route. What happened? He found Amara first. You don't ask what found means. You've read 47 folders tonight. You stayed, you say? She looks at you. No apology. No performance. Just the clear honesty of a woman who made a decision and has had years to stop second-guessing it. You were 3 months old. I told myself I'd find another way. The years went. The way never came. So I packed a bag under the floorboard, 3 years before you were born, and I kept it packed. Documents. Cash. 2 phones. Your throat tightens. 2, you say? I was always waiting, she says quietly, to not be leaving alone. You reach across and take her hand. She holds it with both of hers. Firm. Immediate. Like someone grabbing the one thing they refuse to let this house take from them. You have the drive. You have 11 years of copies. You have the bag under the floorboard. And somewhere in this house right now, Cola, the person you've trusted more than anyone inside these walls since you were children, is sitting with everything you told him 2 hours ago. And you are only now realizing that not once tonight, when you needed to move fast and trust someone completely, did you go to him. Your body knew before your mind did. The question is whether he's already made his call. Cola's phone goes to voicemail on the first ring. Not the second. The first, which means his screen was lit, your name was on it, and he made a choice. You call again. First ring. Voicemail. Your mother appears in the doorway. She reads your face before you say a word and shifts into something that is not panic. She's too practiced for panic, but a focused urgency that looks like a woman who has been rehearsing this drill and is now running it for real. He already called, she says. It's not a question. That means your father already knows. You move fast, to the closet, to the floorboard, third one from the left. It lifts clean. You pull the bag onto the bed and unzip it. 2 passports, neither from your father's office. Cash in 3 currencies, organized and banded. 2 phones in sealed packaging. A folded envelope with your given name in your mother's handwriting. You look up at her. I updated it every year, she says. I always thought the next year would be the year. You press the letter to your inside pocket without reading it. You'll read it when you're somewhere safe enough to feel everything it says. Damn, said the East Gate. 38 minutes. Your mother opens the second dresser drawer and pulls out a small pouch you've never seen before in furniture you've walked past 10,000 times. She doesn't explain it. She just holds it and looks at you the way she's never allowed herself to look at you inside this house. Fully, directly, without the managed version between you. We move now, you say? She nods. No hesitation. No last look around the room. You step into the corridor together, and the house is completely quiet. And quiet in your father's compound doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything is already moving, and you just can't hear it yet. 38 minutes. And Cola knows exactly where you're going. The south gate close before you reach the halfway point of the corridor. One clean metallic sound. Remote operated. Someone at a panel, somewhere in this house, has started reducing your options. You stop. Your mother stops beside you. South gate closed. East gate is your target. West gate is too exposed. North gate is locked until Thursday. Tonight is Wednesday. You have 1 exit left. And someone just confirmed they know which one. Change of route, you say? Your mother doesn't ask why. She moves. You take the service corridor. Kitchen staff use it before 5 in the morning. It smells like industrial cleaner and old stone, and your father has never once walked through it in 26 years because it's beneath the version of himself he performs inside these walls. That's exactly why it's the only path he won't have covered first. You tear open one of the new phones with your teeth, power it on, dial Danlamy's second number from memory. 2 rings. Route changed. South gate is closed. I know. Come to the maintenance shed at the north wall. There's a section that hasn't been on the sensor grid since 2019. How do you know that? Because I'm the one who made sure it wasn't. I've been maintaining that gap for 4 years. 22 years of loyalty. 11 years of preparation. Your father built his empire by being the most patient man in every room. Danlamy learned from the best. You push through the service door and the night air hits you. Wide, cool, the first air tonight that doesn't belong to your father's house. Your mother inhales beside you. A small thing. You hear it. You move along the north wall, low and fast. Then a light comes on. 3rd floor. Your father's study. The north-facing window. You don't stop, but you feel it. His attention landing on you the way it always has. That specific pressure. Except now you are on the other side of the wall. Almost. The shed door opens before you reach it. Danlamy inside, and behind him, a tall woman you don't recognize. Natural hair pulled back, dark clothing, keys already in her hand. Calm the way people are calm when they've been ready for a long time. This is Zora, Danlamy says. She's been waiting 4 years for tonight. Zora looks at you, then at your mother. Your mother and I have met before, she says. I was the contact the first time she tried to leave. The first time. You turn to your mother. She is already looking at you, and her expression says there is more. There has always been more, and she will tell you everything. But not here. Not while your father's light is on, and the gap in the sensor grid is the only thing standing between this night ending in freedom and this night ending in something you don't have a word for. We move, Zora says. And you move. The gap in the north wall is exactly wide enough for one person at a time. Zora goes first. Your mother. Then you. And as you pull yourself through and feel the compound wall behind you instead of around you, something physical releases in your body. A pressure you've been holding so long you stopped knowing it was there. You're outside. For the first time in your life, outside is somewhere you chose. Zora's car sits on the service road. Dark, unremarkable, engine already running. The kind of car nobody looks at twice. You get in. Your mother gets in. Danlamy takes the front seat. Zora pulls away, not fast, not urgent. The deliberate pace of a vehicle that has somewhere completely ordinary to be. You sit in the back with the drive in your pocket, your mother's hand in yours, and you watch the compound wall slide past the window and disappear. Gone. No explosion. No ceremony. One frame it's there. The next it isn't. 26 years inside that perimeter, and it ends like a cut. Your mother doesn't look back. You notice this. You don't look back either. The drive goes to Nia Okafor, Danlamy says. She's been waiting 2 years. Already has 3 sources on the account records. What's on that drive makes the story airtight. You think about the men who built their careers inside your father's reach. The ones who attended dinners, signed forms, and delivered the outcomes. Resolved, relocated, suspended, concluded, while telling themselves that compliance was the same thing as neutrality. They're going to have a very specific kind of morning very soon. You feel the weight of what you're carrying. It isn't clean. Your father is the man who held your eyes from across a room when you were 8 and taught you, without a word, what power looks like. He is also the man with 47 folders. He is also the man who wrote Distraction. Handle. About a 17-year-old boy and didn't slow his handwriting down. He is both things. You don't have to choose which is more real. You just have to choose what you do next. After that, Zora says, you decide. You turn those 3 words over and feel the weight of them, not the heavy pressed into paper weight of your father's words. Something lighter. Open. The weight of something that hasn't found its shape yet. Your mother leans her head back and closes her eyes. Her grip loosens from the iron hold of the east wing into something that trusts the surface it's resting on. The city lights appear in the distance. The drive is in your pocket. Nia Okafor is waiting. And your father, right now, is standing at his north-facing study window looking at a compound running its perfect circuits. Everything accounted for. Everything in order. Except you. Nia Okafor opens the door before you knock. Early 30s, locks pulled back, reading glasses on her forehead, laptop open with 3 documents side by side. She looks at you the way people look at something they've been building toward for a long time, not with surprise, with recognition. You made it, she says. We made it, you say. You put the drive on her table. She picks it up, holds it, looks at Damlamy. 11 years. 11 years. She plugs it in. You watch her face as the files load. Focus, recognition, then a sharp, quick breath she controls, but not fast enough. Whatever is on that drive exceeded what she expected. And she was expecting a lot. This is more than enough, she says quietly. Your phone vibrates. Unknown number. You answer. Silence. Then your father's voice, not angry, not loud. The same tone from every dinner, every meeting. The tone of a man who has decided the outcome before the conversation begins. You took something that belongs to this family. I took something that belongs to the people it was used against. A pause. You don't know what you've started. Yes, I do, you say. You taught me. You end the call. Your hands still don't shake. Nia is watching you. Damlamy is watching you. Your mother is watching you from the chair by the window, and her face is doing something it hasn't done in years. Fully open. The expression of a woman watching her daughter stand in the exact place she always hoped she would someday stand. 72 hours, you say to Nia. She turns back to her screen. 72 hours, she confirms. You sit back and close your eyes. Just for a moment. Just long enough to feel the full weight of what tonight cost, and what it opened, and what comes next, which is, for the first time in 26 years, something you will decide. The story publishes Thursday at 6 a.m. You are 300 miles away, sitting at a table in a city that doesn't know your name, drinking coffee you ordered from a place you chose yourself. Slow at first, then faster, then the kind of speed that tells you a story has found its current and is moving on its own. Your father's name is everywhere by 7. By 8, 2 senior commanders are issuing statements through lawyers. By 9, the first bank has frozen 3 flagged accounts. By 10, there are cameras outside the compound gates, the same gates you left 60 hours ago in a car nobody looked at twice. Your mother sits across from you, hands around her mug. She's been sleeping 8 hours every night since you left. How do you feel? She asks. You think about 47 folders. About Cola's voicemail. About Damlamy in that dark corridor pressing a leather folder to his chest with nowhere left to carry it. About your mother at 23 with a plan that ended the night your father found Amara first. About your father's voice on that call. Calculating already, moving to the next position, because a man who runs everything through strategy never learns that some things can't be recovered that way. You are not one of those things anymore. I feel like myself, you say? For the first time. She doesn't say anything back. She doesn't have to. The drive carried 47 folders of evidence. It also carried 231 other names. People who went through the same machine, whose lives were filed under the same bloodless columns. Nia's team is working through every one. You can't fix all of it. You know this. But you know how the machine works. You were built by the man who built it. You know where the gaps are, where the records live, where the handwriting doesn't lie. Damlamy sets his laptop on the table. An email from a legal team your father's reach doesn't extend to. A formal testimony invitation. 2 signatures already on it. The third line is blank. You pick up the pen. You sign your name. Your real name. Your given name. The one your mother chose. The one your father never used because saying it would mean acknowledging you were a person and not a position. You are a person. You have always been a person. It just took 26 years, a drive, a gap in a sensor grid, and a woman who packed a bag before you were born to get you to the table where you could prove it. You put the pen down. You pick up your coffee. Outside, the city moves. And for the first time in your life, you move with it. On your own terms. In a direction nobody chose but you. The Warlord built an empire. His daughter just decided what it was worth. And the answer was never the empire. If this story moved you, if you've ever felt like someone else was making the decisions in your own life, drop a comment and tell us what you would have done. Your voice matters here. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that challenges, inspires, and reminds you that the most powerful move you'll ever make is the one nobody saw coming. See you in the next one.